Yeah. What's up, Cowboys fans? It's your boy Foots the King. And to not only Cowboys fans, but visitors of the channel, this is Mock Draft 1, Edition 1. And I'm on the mock draft machine. It just makes things easier. Now, I have notes written down, but obviously you guys can't see me because, quite frankly, I'm just going to talk through this mock draft. No need to see my ugly face. We want to talk about picks. We want to talk about this 2020 up-and-coming draft, which bowl season is wrapping up. Obviously, we have the national championship, which I think LSU is going to win on Monday. I think it's Monday. My days are all messed up. But if you know me, if you know the channel, one thing about me, I do a lot of homework on these prospects, and not just my team, which is the Cowboys, but I want to give a realistic situation. And in all these mock drafts, these are my thoughts, my ideas, and I offer critique, and I offer anybody who has an idea. But the cool thing about this mock draft machine, you guys can go put together a mock and see what you like and see what you don't like and see what makes sense and see who doesn't. But for me, it's just this is what I think that I would do, and I already have my mock together, so it's not going to be hard for me to go through these picks. I know the players very well. I spent a little bit of time on this first mock because I wanted to make sure that I got this one right. The next couple, I'll do some different things, attack it with some different philosophies, with what these teams might want to do, get you guys thinking different. But the biggest thing that I ask is I really want to get the conversation started. So let's just have good conversation in the comments. Let's talk about some things that you guys for your team might want to do. The Cowboys, what you guys might want to do. I have a bunch of ideas for the Cowboys. And really nothing's off the table. We don't have a coach right now. A lot of these teams picking don't have a coach right now. The Browns, the Redskins just got their coach. What's going to be their philosophy? Everybody is banking on Chase Young. I'm going to do something different. So that's just one example. But nonetheless, with the first pick of the draft, I think it's pretty easy, safe to say, unless I end up drafting for the Cowboys and trading up 2 number ones to get Joe Burrow. I just think he's that elite of a talent. And what Joe Burrow did this year was it was amazing. I remember watching the Texas game, and I'm watching him, outduel Ellinger. The Florida game, made plays. And I think what you're drafting Joe for is the elite talent that he has. Okay, is that his swiftness in the pocket. He's very swift in the pocket. He steps up. He's able to make every throw. And the arm talent doesn't blow you away, but he has zip on the ball. His footwork in the pocket. He's never rattled. So you're drafting a player who's, quite frankly, never rattled. He's Joe Smooth, as they say. And I think that this will be a great pick for the Bengals. Let's be honest. They've went however many years with Andy Dalton as being just a bus driver. They need a playmaker in Cincinnati. He's the pick. Now, everybody has Chase Young as the consensus number 2 overall to Washington. It makes so much sense. However, for me, for the Skins, I did something a little bit different. In watching Ohio State versus Clemson, big stage. We're talking big stage right now. When I saw Jeff Okudah, I was familiar with the player. Watched him versus Penn State. Amazing production. Watched him versus Wisconsin. You see the plays. You see the pass breakups, the PBs. You see his skill set. But watching him against those elite receivers at Clemson and watching what he was able to do, for me, there hasn't been a prospect this clean in a while. And I'm going Jeff Okudah right here because the Skins have put a lot of resources into that defensive line. They're making a switch to the 4-3 with Ron Rivera coming in. But who's going to cover these guys on the back end? They got questions at the linebacker. They have questions at the linebacker position. They have questions at, safety, in both cornerback positions. I just think that if you can bring in an elite cover guy, you just drafted Montez Sweat. All right, you got the Alabama defensive tackles. I just think that you bring in Jeff Okudah, he instantly transitions to the league. I like Chase Young. All right, I love Chase Young. The whole 9. I'm just not as high on Chase Young as everybody else. I choose to think differently when I watch the prospect. Why? I don't think that he plays the run well. I think that the Bosa brother plays the run better than Chase Young. I think that he has a very quick twitch, and he's an edge rush guy. However, in the NFL, I think he's going to get washed a lot until he learns how to get a true, a really good bull rush. He's going to have to learn how to rush straight. He knows how to rush around people. He's going to learn how to rush straight, and he's going to have to learn when you're playing that 4-3 scheme. You have to have a left defensive end, right defensive end that know how to play the run. I know this is going to turn a lot of heads, but I just think that, the Skins may do something different. They may trade back as well if somebody's trying to trade up and get one of these other quarterbacks. So, Jeff Okudah is the pick here. Now, here's where Derrick Brown is actually my favorite defender in the draft. I just choose to think different. I think that I see the twitchiness with Derrick Brown is truthfully special. But Chase Young is going to be the pick for the Lions. He just answers the bell there. Listen, the Lions and Matt Patricia, they got to start playing better defense. Okay, that's just the facts, and I think that with what they want to do, get after the quarterback. With Matt Patricia being a defensive coach, the defense just hasn't been good. They get Chase Young there. All right, here we go with the New York Giants getting Andrew Thomas. Now, this is a big pick for Daniel Jones, who I started to give Jerry Jeudy here just to go ahead and get his weapon, but I'm thinking that offensive line still isn't where it needs to be. Will Hernandez had a better year. He's a really feisty player, but to me, I'm thinking that if they can shore up that tackle position, left and right. Nate Solder is an older player. I'm thinking that the Giants now, with some of the pieces that they already have on the team, offensively the Giants really weren't that bad. It was just a lot of, strip sacks when it came to Daniel Jones. He has to protect the ball better, but they need to help him by protecting him. Now, here we go. All right, this is where Tua Tagovailoa comes off the board. Now, I'm hearing a lot that he may possibly go back. I don't think that that's a good idea. I think that if you have a chance to get drafted, get paid in rehab, you need to come out. He's a very clean prospect, very smart player, has a whip and an arm. Listen, I think that Tua, if not for the injury history, could very well make a case for being the #1 pick. The problem is the injury history, and the problem is this year Joe Burrow just flat out outplayed him. And sometimes that happens, and guess what? Sometimes you get drafted because of that. So, listen, I don't think it's smart for him to go back to school. Next year he would have to compete with, the Clemson quarterback. So, I just think that if he comes out now, Trevor Lawrence, I think that if he comes out now, with the injury history, this is as good as it's going to get. And I think that he's Russell Wilson. You redshirt him for a year, in a sense, and you let him learn the NFL landscape. I think that he'll be fine. I think that this could be really a way of saving him from himself. And you guys help me out with this, but if he comes back, would he play anyway? You get what I'm saying? So, let me know. Let me know exactly what you guys think on that Tua situation and what you guys are hearing, because there may be somebody in the Alabama area who is hearing something more than what I am. I just think, with my 2 cents, I just say, Tua, you have a chance to get paid, man. Get paid. Get your money. Get paid. Listen, get paid to rehab. You got 5 years on that first round tag. You might as well get paid. All right, here we go. This one is going to surprise some people. And it's a name that's really starting to creep up, okay? And it's quarterback Jordan Love. Has the measurables. If he can get the turnovers under control, the arm talent is there. With Phillip Rivers on his way out, who I think, it's just time for some of these guys to go. Phillip Rivers is one of them. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback to ever play a game, is another. Some of these guys are going to start transitioning out of the league. So some of these quarterbacks got to start playing good football. You bring Jordan Love in. If Phillip Rivers does play another year, that's for sure is his last year. You bring Jordan Love in, you play good football. This is the easiest pick of my draft. Derrick Brown, listen, cut the film on. If you're watching the Auburn game, he jumps off the tape. Period. And that was the thing, again, not to go back to Chase Young and I get all the sacks against sorry offensive tackles in the Big Ten. Not all of them are sorry, but some of those guys just aren't NFL players, okay? Here's the deal. Chase Young is great. But when I look at Derrick Brown, he just leaps off the field. The quickness, off of the film, the tape, the TV. The quickness, the burst, I won't go as far as to call him Aaron Donald, but you see now that quicker interior linemen have a place in the NFL. You know, if it's me, I make this pick. If Carolina has this pick, I make this pick, no question. Here we go. This is another one that makes sense. You get Kyler Murray some help with CeeDee Lamb. I just think it's really a no-brainer. It's that pick to the Arizona Cardinals is truthfully a no-brainer. You don't know what's going to happen with Larry Fitzgerald. It seems like he is like some of these older quarterbacks. He's going to play until he's 45. But who knows? If it's me, I'm going CeeDee Lamb right there. Explosive wide receiver. Has some drops, but for him and Kyler Murray to be able to grow together, I think that would be cool. Next pick number 9. I went Isaiah Simmons, who, for my money, is the most athletic player I've seen in like the last 5 years. He made a play against Ohio State that you're just like, wow. Linebackers aren't supposed to be able to move like that. It was, a back half play. He was in coverage. Linebackers aren't supposed to be able to play defense like that. The fact that he was able to carry the receiver, still break the pass up, I think that this is definitely the pick. All right, another one that's really easy to make this pick. The Browns need attitude, but the fact of the matter is the Browns need to protect Baker Mayfield, whatever Baker Mayfield is going to be. Okay, Baker Mayfield could be fool's gold. Let's just be honest. He's a one-read quarterback. He doesn't have the temperament right now to be really a mature person. He's not a mature person, but you can't give up on him. The Browns can't give up on him. They just fired John Dorsey, so they have to bring in somebody who wants to coach this guy up. What better way? They have weapons. What better way to coach him up than keep him safe, protect him? All right, so I like this pick, and I don't know. I was high on Baker Mayfield. I didn't see him being a complete asshole like he's been this year, so who knows what's going to happen with that Browns organization. Your guys' guess is as good as mine, but while you have the player, I think you should protect him. Now, the Jets get an absolute steal here, and I think that this is something that can happen in the draft. The talent at the top of this draft is too good to, be honest, reach for a receiver. Receivers, you just really don't know how they are going to pan out in the league early. And if it's a top 10 pick, you need production right away. Jerry Jeudy is good. He's not the cleanest prospect that I've covered in the last 5-10 years at the receiver position, but he is very twitchy. He runs great routes. Sometimes he can get beat up at the line, but nonetheless, if he's coming in and he's a 2, he helps you right away. I love this pick. Now, here's a pick that some of you guys will say, I didn't see this one coming. All right, but nonetheless, Oakland needs defensive help still. It seems like every year you're trying to give Oakland a corner, a safety. But I just like this pick for these guys, and I went Kristian Fulton here. Clemson corner, again. Hip turn is great. The way he tracks the ball. It's really the speed. Where are you at, Kristian? Here you go, right here. It's really the speed and the swiftness that he plays with. Those Clemson players can run, and that's what Oakland needs on that defense. They need, with Jonathan Abram, okay, Gruden needs playmakers on that back end. The offense isn't bad. You still got to figure out who Derek Carr is. Seems like he's been in the league forever, and you just don't really know just how good he is. But nonetheless, I like the pick a lot. I think that it makes a lot of sense. And, Oakland, had it not been for a few, goofy plays from Carr, this Oakland team may not have been that bad. But nonetheless, you're going to end up trying to figure out who Derek Carr is, but why not help this defense out, get them better? Him, Jonathan Abram, I think that back end is now really, really good. Here we go, Henry Ruggs. to the Colts. T.Y. Hilton at this point in his career is just kind of a shell of himself. You don't know what you're gonna do with the quarterback position. You know, I like Jacoby Brissett. I just don't love him, and you know, you want to help him out, but how invested are they in Jacoby Brissett? The problem is this quarterback class. I don't see how the Colts are able to get up. So there, you get what I'm saying. When you're stuck at that position, and that's that. When you're stuck at that 13 through 20, it's like you don't really know, what these guys are gonna be, and you don't really know how good these guys are gonna be. So for me, hey, for my money, more or less, you grab Henry Ruggs. He can run. Henry Ruggs can run. Hopefully, Jacoby Brissett can now throw a 9 route with timing, and you could take the defense off. You could take the top off the defense. Here we go. Justin Herbert. Now, this may be the shock of the draft. I know. Okay. Jameis Winston led the league in passing. Jameis Winston also sucks. He's never going to protect the ball. He doesn't have it in him. Let Bruce Arians get his guy. I really do think that Bruce Arians likes Jameis Winston. The problem is Jameis is who he is. He's never gonna protect the football ever. And so you have a live arm in Justin Herbert. Let's get him out of that Oregon goofy ass system. Let's try to get him in the NFL system. You play Jameis Winston for one more year. You transition Justin Herbert in. I really like this pick. And the fact that he fell is because Jordan Love was pushed up just because of his arm talent. And, every year it happens to one of these quarterbacks. They just come out of nowhere. I think that Jordan Love is going to be that guy. All right, here we go. We have Javon Kinlaw. All right. Now, the one thing that this guy can do, okay, he is strong as crap. I think that he gives that Denver defense. Remember when Denver just played great football? Great defensive football. I think that anybody on the defensive side of the ball, you could draft for the Denver Broncos. They need to get back to playing good defense. Remember that defense was flying around with Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware. I forget who their defensive tackle was. But they played solid defense. And so to me, if you have a chance to get that defense better, that's what you do. All right. The Falcons get AJ Espinoza, really good player off the edge from Iowa. Now, here goes the Cowboys pick. Dum. And without a doubt, this pick for me would be Grant Delpit. Listen, I think that Grant Delpit is, and we'll go through his pros and cons, and this is some of the write-ups, and I really don't have to read this at all because I know the player. He didn't have the year that he had a year ago, okay? But you're talking about a guy who adds attitude to a Cowboys team that has no attitude, okay? Listen, this team has no grit. They have no fight. They have no dirt to them, and they don't have playmakers. One thing about Grant Delpit is he's a playmaker. Now, did he fall off? Yes. Did he battle injuries? Yes. But you're talking about, an award-winning defensive back. The size is something that he really is. He really is now. I would never disrespect what's the safety from the Chargers? I would never disrespect Derwin James. One of my favorite prospects. Sometimes, guys, when you're thinking about all of these prospects, you go brain dumb. But I would never disrespect Derwin James. However, the fact of the matter is, Derwin is just he's a little bit cleaner than Delpit, but Delpit has shown you those type flashes. Delpit has shown you a player that, if need be, can make big plays, man. So to me, if I got a chance to get that type player, that's what I'm doing. All right. I think he just adds attitude to the back end. Now you can let him, X Woods, make plays. Heath is a rotational player who I like on his team. He brings leadership, but he just doesn't have the playmaking ability that he doesn't have the playmaking ability of a Delpit when Delpit is right. He's just an animal. He's just a feisty player. I would love him on this Cowboys team. Don't go get offense. In some other mock drafts, I'll do some other things, but right now. I really don't want the Cowboys to play around with offense. Let's get grittier on this defense. And to be honest with you, for the value and where you're drafting, that's probably the best you're going to be able to get. All right. Miami gets Clavon, chasing edge, LSU. That whole LSU team, just speed, defense. This player is a really, really good player. I think that he makes Miami just needs good players. So he makes Miami better. Here we go. I have Oakland getting Laviska Shenault. Just a freaking playmaker. You can line him up in the backfield as a running back. You could throw a dump pass to him. You could throw wheel routes to him. He can go line up as a slot player. He can line up on the outside. He's just a playmaker. Watch the injury history, but he's just a playmaker. As simple as that. I think that the Cowboys. Talking about the Cowboys. I think the Raiders again just need good players, and they have to hit on some of these draft picks. Some of these, you traded back and you did all this trading. Now you really need to hit and kind of, you need to hit on some of these guys. All right, here we go. I got the Jags getting Trayvon Diggs. Obviously they lost Jalen Ramsey, which was, monumental for them. That was a big loss for them. All right, so you bring in Trayvon Diggs, Alabama corner, has played big football. I think that he helps you out a lot. Moving right along, the Eagles draft T. Higgins. Now, they're playing some playoff football this weekend, but I think that T. Higgins makes a lot of sense for them. You've seen that Carson Wentz can win with really janitors at receiver. Now you give him a quality receiver. You allow him to go out and get these guys the ball. You allow them to make plays. I think that makes a lot of sense. All right, here we go. I have the Titans drafting Jedrick Wills from Alabama. Just a stout player. Great kick step. Violent hands at the point. He adds attitude, and that Titans offensive line is already really, really good. Again, need to shore up that tackle position. You get it with this player here. Moving right along. Now, this is a player that I really, really like for the Bills. Just speed. All right. Kenneth Murray, Oklahoma linebacker. Now, I want to be clear on something. This linebacking class isn't great. It's literally like Isaiah Simmons, Kenneth Murray, and that's it. It's not, Zach Bond, maybe, if you love him. But, this linebacking this linebacking class isn't great. It just isn't. So, now, what you need to do is, all right, if you're the Bills, these are value picks here. Somebody who you can now pair with Edmonds, let these guys run all over the field. The Bills want to play defense. It's cold, it's nasty in Buffalo. The Bills want to play defense. The Bills, that's really what they want to do. And I think that, this Bills team, Sean McDermott, they've really taken on his attitude. Run the ball. Singletary was a great pick. Cole Beasley panned out for them. It's really more the same. All right? Play defense, run the ball, got Trey White, really see if they can. I don't think they're probably about a year away from really making a push. So what do? You add another good player. I think that's what Kenneth Murray does for them. Just a linebacker who I really, really like, really has speed, really gritty player. See, that Oklahoma team, to me, was kind of soft, but he was one of the few highlights on that team that, to be honest, let's be honest, Oklahoma doesn't play good defense. They try to play a little better defense this year, but they don't really play good defense. All right, I got the Vikings taking Sean Wade. Xavier Rhodes just hasn't been good as of late, so they upgraded position there. Here we go. All right. Now listen, with Miami back on the board, they have to make the most out of these picks. All right, they just have to. Now I'm gonna go all the way down the draft board here because I got a guy, okay, who, for my money, is better than a lot of these receivers on the board. I'm going to give the Dolphins Justin Jefferson. One of my favorite players in this draft. Feisty, his mindset is right. Yak, the whole nine. Him and Joe Burrow, their connection has just been unreal. I think that, you get Tua, if you end up drafting Tua, or whatever quarterback you end up drafting, whatever quarterback is your guy, you get him some help. I think that's big, man. to more or less to get this Dolphins team on the up and up. All right. So for me, Justin Jefferson, he jumps up the board. I think he's going to test off the charts. And I think that, this postseason, more or less, this LSU postseason has been unreal. It's helped these guys out, helped their draft status, and what better way to go out, more or less. All right, here we go. On the edge for the Seahawks, you guys helped me with this one. Yoder, Gross, Matos. I watched them. My buddy actually plays for Penn State, Rasheed Walker. He'll be coming out next year. A really good offensive tackle. But this guy here can play the 9, can play a true traditional 4-3 power. Needs to work on his speed and his foot quickness. But listen, the power is there. Can play the run on the way to the quarterback. That's what Pete Carroll wants to do in that 4-3 screen. I think that this makes a lot of sense. Now, here we go. All right, what's gonna happen with Tom Brady? Every year. All right, the Packers are going to draft a quarterback at some point during the year. That's what the Packers do. But the Patriots are going to draft a quarterback every year. But for my money, I am not going to give them Drake Fromm or Jacob Eason or any of that, okay? I'm not going to give them. Here we go, okay? I'm going to give them Terrell Lewis. One thing that I think that Bill will do if he does stay for the Pats, I think that he's going to continue to play defense, and I think that he's going to want to have, guys. He just drafted a kid from the kid with the long flowing hair. He reminds me of AJ Hawk and those guys. I think that he's going to continue to play defense. I just think that he's going to continue to, want to have guys coming off the edge. I think that they like Jared Stidham. So to me, that makes a lot of sense for the Patriots there. I think everybody's going to have them wanting to get a quarterback. And I just, don't reach for Fromm or one of these guys if you're not in love with them, Bill. Or at least I wouldn't. So here we go. I got the Packers getting receiver help. Devontae Adams is good. But if you're going to ride out with Aaron Rodgers, who's probably on his way to his last ride out pretty soon, then get him A.J. Terrell. Clemson receiver, him and T. Higgins were really, really good together. Get him that help and allow him to go ahead and make plays. This is a no-brainer for me. Travis Etienne to the Kansas City Chiefs. They need a true one. Not LaShawn McCoy in the middle of the season. They need a true runner. And I think that he makes a lot of sense for those guys. Whatever you think of him, J.K. Dobbins, like I was watching that game and I was kind of like, is J.K. Dobbins better than Etienne? Time will tell, but a first round back, you saw what Josh Jacobs did for Oakland. He was able to catch the ball, and they're kind of similar comps. You need somebody who can come in. Mahomes could throw swing passes to him, give him the ball in space, let him make plays. I think that this is a great pick. I think it makes a lot of sense for Kansas City. All right, we got 2 more picks, guys. It's pretty obvious. It's Michael Thomas or bust. So these guys are going to get KJ Hamler from Penn State. I just like him. I think he's extremely quick. I think that one thing that Hamler does is, like I said, the quickness is just there. One thing that he's able to do is just separate. Separate. I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback. Fromm could be the picker. I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for New Orleans, but hey, get Michael Thomas, Robin, and let these guys go out and make plays. I think that it makes a lot of sense. San Francisco, easy pick here. Safety help. I think the back end is going to be their demise. I don't have them going to the Super Bowl. This simulator does, but I don't have them going to the Super Bowl. So I think that, Ashton Davis, Florida safety is really, really good. He's just a smart player. So you put him in space, he can make plays all over the field. And, to me, when you get to the back of the first round, you're just taking flyers on guys because they're not true ones, so now they're second. So if your team is probably good, And so maybe you're bringing in development guys. And that's what I'm going to do right here for the Ravens. We're going to get Jonathan Taylor. Okay. So here's my picks, guys. I'm really proud of my work. I'm really proud of this draft, more or less. I'll copy this over for you all, and I'll put it in the comments. Again, you're talking about Jonathan Taylor. It just feels like a Ravens pick. When you watch that Ohio State-Wisconsin game, you just saw the way that he ran the ball was really, really special. Really, really gritty player. My favorite back, although he probably won't be the first back drafted. Helps Lamar out. You don't know how much longer you're going to have Mark Ingram, so why not develop Jonathan Taylor? All right, guys, it's your boy Foots the King as always. Thank you guys for bearing with me on my first edition 1 mock draft. It's your boy Foots. I'm probably going to do one of these after the divisional round. See some weaknesses that I see in some teams. Switch some things up again. I have Okudah going too. That's just me. I haven't seen a DB really as gritty, as feisty as him. It was a play where he flat out crushed Travis Etienne. I just like Jeff Okudah. So you guys let me know what you guys think. It's your boy Foots the King as always. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Peace.